That subject didn't come up yet. However, I'm pretty sure this won't be our last meeting, which is just, introductory pleasantries.
Mayor, like one of the biggest things that people are curious about, of course, is COVID, the ongoing precautions happening across the city. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to talk much with the health department, but do you have thoughts on reopening, of easing restrictions as things do continue to improve and vaccinations increase? What are your thoughts on reopening plans for businesses?
Well, I'd like to get a briefing first from the current health commissioner, Dr. Eccles, and then also talk to St. Louis County as well, so we can try to be in sync as much as possible.
I saw Dr. Page congratulated you last night, and
yes.
How do you hope to improve those communications between the county and the city? People work and live in both places, and
right.
Yet it still sometimes feels very separate. How do you hope to improve those relations?
Well, Dr. Page and I have been friends since 2008. We crossed paths when he was coming out of the legislature and I was going in. So there's an existing relationship there. So I don't see that, we will continue to have a good working relationship. We talk and text pretty frequently anyway. And so now this is an opportunity for us to work together in a more formal setting. So we're both very excited about that.
Did you talk to him today yet? Or?
I have not talked to him today. My schedule has been packed with a whole host of other interviews and phone calls and returning text messages. My inbox is full.
The inauguration is in 2 weeks. What would you say is your biggest challenge moving forward in the next 2 weeks? What's big?
I would say the biggest challenge moving forward will be just getting things like totally ready to assume office in the next couple of weeks. This is a really small transition or short transition to make from one office to the other. Obviously the logistics of packing one office up and moving it down the hall, right?
And will you be looking over any personnel decisions before you get to mayor, any possible new police chief or any department heads that you might have to consider?
We definitely would be looking at cabinet appointees and other personnel decisions. Obviously, those that are closest to the mayor will be first on deck to be scrutinized.
What's your timeline on appointing a new treasurer, and would it be somebody who's out of elected office or possibly a current elected official?
We will be making an announcement shortly about who my replacement will be.
Like shortly, a couple days?
Like shortly before inauguration.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Casey, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. There will be people watching, if not rooting for St. Louis to have a stumble with this $500 million. What do you do to combat that so that people can see where that money is going?
We're going to set up a very robust transparency portal so they can see exactly where the dollars are going to be spent. Our Chief Innovation Officer is going to be very, very helpful in assisting us in this process.
And your top priority for that money right now?
Top priority right now is direct relief, making sure that people get rent, mortgage, and utility assistance, small business assistance, and helping our unhoused.
Did Mayor Krewson make any particular point to you above anything else, like above all things, I hope you do this, or did she say anything like that?
I would say that she was really concerned about her staff and her department heads and just wondering what our plans were there. We weren't at liberty to really say one thing or another, but she's really concerned about her department heads, and so and she should be, right? These are people, they have jobs, they have families, and we will respect that as much as we can as we move forward.
Other than talking to Mayor Krewson today, did you meet anybody else in person?
Her chief of staff, as well as her PR person, Jacob Long.
In different meetings, you mean?
No, all in one meeting.
Earlier today, who else did you meet with?
No one earlier today. We have literally been on interviews with people all across the country.
Who are some of the nationals who talked to you?
We talked to Roland Martin this morning. We also talked to Channel 5 this morning. We talked to Bloomberg and the New York Times.
There's been a ton of national press. I just saw a People article about your election. What do you hope that inspires? There are a lot of people who sometimes Google St. Louis, and unfortunately, it's not the best light statistics that show up when we Google St. Louis. How do you hope to change that on a national level?
Well, I think that we've seen in recent years that when a city elects a black woman mayor, that does make national news, and in a good way, because that signals that the entire city is moving in a progressive manner. And we all know that the type of leadership that black women have brought, they've been very progressive, very innovative, and I look forward to learning from my colleagues who are already leading cities across the country.
Any surprises?
So did the mayor say anything that surprised you? Any kind of peel back the curtain on anything?
No, not really. No.
On that subject,
I'm sorry.
Last night, you were serenaded by your sorority sisters. Can you tell me about that? I mean, what that meant to you, the significance of that?
Yes, so I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and one of the things that we do when a sorority sister reaches a milestone, a significant milestone in her life, like a career achievement, marriage, so forth and so on, her sorority sisters serenade her, and I was totally just surprised by it. And forgot that was a part of our ritual, but was totally touched and surprised by it.
And was that your first serenade?
I believe so. No, it was, yes.
To follow up on that idea of crime being really something that St. Louis unfortunately is known for, you have obviously a huge load on your plate in dealing with that. Can you tell us, week one in office, what some of the first things that you can do to address some of the violent crime in our city? I know there's a lot to do with week one.
Right. Well, we didn't get here overnight. I think week one, we're going to be convening various stakeholders across the region so we can all start to come to the table and put all of the prevention tools in the toolbox on the table so we can develop a strategy going forward, because crime and safety don't stop at our borders, and we need to invest and bring our neighbors to the table from the west and the east.
I don't think I need to tell you that the mayor doesn't have unlimited power. The
Right.
comptroller and board of alderman president are also part of E&A.
Yes.
You've talked before about how you and President Reed have been personally close and may have similar goals. What's your relationship like with Comptroller Green? And could you also find goals with her so it's like a unanimous
Yes.
run as opposed to a squabbling match as it can be?
Yeah, so I've talked to both of them today, and the one thing that I learned sort of watching my dad grow up as he was comptroller was that you criticize privately but praise publicly. And so when you have disagreements, you have those behind closed doors and you don't air your dirty laundry for the rest of the world to see. And so hopefully that's the sort of tone that I'd like to set. And I've already talked to, like I said, to Darlene and Lewis, and would like to, if somebody brings something to me about them, I would bring it to them first, rather than just assuming that, they said whatever is out there in the universe. And I think that having those direct conversations and frequent conversations can clear up a lot of ambiguity and also anger.
We've got time for two more questions.
Some voters naturally don't like you. They voted for the other person. What would you say to reach out to those people who don't like you, they might not trust you, to tell them what you have in mind to represent them also, and to have them give you a chance?
Well, for everybody who didn't support me and for everybody who thinks that their government is going to leave them behind, I see you, I'm ready to serve, and I will show up every day for you and serve you.
Last question. What's on tap tomorrow for you? Who are you going to be meeting with?
You know what? I have no clue. I know I have some interviews tomorrow. I'm sorry. I have some interviews tomorrow, I think also on the national level and locally. So we'll just continue to schedule those interviews. And I think tomorrow is opening day. So maybe I'll get a chance to take in that as well.
One thing I was wondering about, in debates, both you and Alderman Spencer had indicated you would be reviewing the police chief and interviewing him, et cetera. We have a state law that appears to block any city, you're probably familiar with it, from just arbitrarily removing a police chief. Do you think that law applies to St. Louis?
Well, I would like to make sure that when we interview Chief Hayden, that we're being fair, and that's why I have a chief of staff who's also an attorney to make sure that I'm not breaking the laws as we try to move forward.
My question though is,
yeah.
can the mayor do anything if she wants to change police chief? Or,
Again, I would have to investigate that before making
no, I
any
just thought
sort of.
maybe you had already and you knew something I didn't know.
That's why he's an attorney and I'm not.
Okay.
Is he going to be your chief of staff still as mayor?
Yes,
Jared,
Jared Boyd will be coming with me as chief of staff as in the mayor's office.
You gonna be keeping anybody from Krewson's staff up there?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. All right. Thank you so much.